It's that big fish paradox. Think I need a bigger pool. Niggas asking about my drive.
Yo! What up? Long time no see again.
A criminal!
Yeah, long time no see. What's up? I'm gonna show you how to build a deck, I guess. Or the way that I build decks. I guess that's probably more appropriate. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to build a CEDH deck to win a tournament. Or at least the method that I go through in building a deck. Let's get into the video.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Kai, aka Fervent Alchemist, and I am here with a new deck. This one is unfinished. Usually I try to give you guys like a really nice polished version of the deck, but this time you're gonna come with me on the journey. You're gonna go with me on the journey of playing in tournaments with an unfinished deck. I did play this in a few tournaments so far. I believe I did pretty well in each tournament that I played in, but not as well as I would like, meaning that my results did not show, put that in the main deck, my results did not show that I did that well. But I think I played well, which then again, you know, it keeps me coming back at it again and again and again, because I know I did well, and that's okay. So this is called BANT Zenith. This is the Zenith of BANT because, you know, BANT has been putting in some work. Shout out to the boys, Billy and Jake, for putting in work on their BANT decks. Also, blue and white are the most powerful colors when it comes down to playing in CEDH tournaments, in my opinion. I think blue-white paired with like black or green is probably the best solid pairing to just win out, like win in any tournament at this point. But I got this deck here that I made out. It was inspired by looking at Dragonstorm cards. I saw a couple Dragonstorm cards. I think it's Voice of Victory. That card is definitely going in this deck, but it's not April yet. Pre-release isn't coming yet. I believe it's like March, like the end of March right now, but I don't have access to these cards yet. So I'm preparing myself by building the deck, building the concept, and then getting my practice with it, entering tournaments and understanding what the tournament meta is like. And so far, I've had a lot of fun playing this deck, Yoshimaru and Thrasios. I saw a lot of blue and green cards from the set that I really wanted to play. Also white cards like Voice of Victory. So I built this deck. Mostly because I realized that Yoshimaru can just neoform into the Voice of Victory, and I could just go ahead and try to win from there. Thrasios also neoforms into Ranger Captain, I believe. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I want access to both of these things. And also, this is high key like a 6 deck, but I'll get into that later.
If you like what I got going on here on the channel, or if this is your first time here, make sure you give me a big old like and subscribe down below. And don't forget to check out my links as well as my other content on the channel.
Noble Hierarch, not too many dorks. We've only got 2 dorks, and they both tap for any color of mana. Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch. These are the things that Yoshimaru can like get into most importantly. Is like Devoted Druid, Combo Piece, Grand Abolisher, Silence Effect, Volatile Storm Drake, which is just something that can just take another creature with. Could be Gilded Drake, but I like the fact that it has flying and hexproof from activated and triggered abilities. I think that's pretty cool. Also, there are other energy cards in this deck. Actually, it's just one energy card in here, but I'm starting to think I should probably run more energy cards because I usually end up with like 2 or 3 energy left over after I use them. And I get curious. I've gotten very curious about running more of these cards. This deck was also inspired by all the Rock Thrasios pilots I've been running into. I got Enduring Vitality in here. This one's kind of looking forward to being on the chopping block. It's just too much investment. It requires me to put out creatures first. And when it's out in the mid-range game, oh, it's amazing. Like, once you get it out and you have the momentum to keep it there, it's amazing. But if you're not thinking about the long range or like the mid range game, card's gonna suck, you know? So I tried to make this deck close out efficiently and quickly and have. And I'm still figuring out the lines with this deck, trying to figure out what combo lines there are. But Enduring Vitality is pretty cool. It's pretty nice when you have 4 creatures and you have Thrasios on board and you can just tap them to activate Thrasios. It's really cool. I don't have any other combos in the deck that goes infinite with this, but it's just a really nice quote-unquote rock. It's very tutorable, and you'll see later on. You got Eternal Witness here. You got Ranger Captain here. Of course, everybody loves Ranger Captain. This picks up any one of your 1-drops. Esper Sentinel picks up Groundskeeper, which is a combo piece in the deck. And like I said, I'll get to that later. 6, this is low-key a 6 deck. This is part of the combo with Groundskeeper. So the combo with Groundskeeper in 6 requires you to have a basic land card either in your hand or in your graveyard. And then you also require Lion's Eye Diamond. So what you're going to do, say like Lion's Eye Diamond is in your graveyard and you have Groundkeeper and 6 on the battlefield, you're going to retrace the Lion's Eye Diamond. You're going to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond for triple green. And then you're going to go ahead and return that basic back to your hand. You're going to retrace the Lion's Eye Diamond, rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. It's kind of like Bomberman. It's more like Grounded Man. Or like Keeper Man. I don't know. We got to name this combo. Actually, what should we call this combo? The 6 Lion's Eye Diamond and Groundskeeper with the basic combo. What should we call that combo? Just drop it down in the comments and then I'll add it to the deck. Groundskeeper is cool. It's just a 1-drop that kind of doesn't do anything else besides put basics back into your hand. I was on about 2 basics before. I was on 3 basics. I was on the Plains, Island, and Forest. And when I was on all 3 of those, the deck was great. It just ran super well. But then I cut 1 Plains for an Emergent Zone. Can hardly find it. I can hardly find any basic in the deck now. But when I had all 3, it was great. It was amazing. And I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. It was amazing. Maybe I might add it back in. Maybe I might cut Emergent Zone or something like that. But Emergent Zone's really good. So I don't know. Still too early to tell. Still in the testing phase. Still trying to figure things out. And yeah. This is one of the combos, 6 Groundskeeper and Lion's Eye Diamond. Valley Fuck Caller is just a really good card to just enable flash speed stuff, but I think I think it should be High Fate Trickster. But then again, like I said, Thrasios can just neoform into this, and it's super easy. Auriok Salvager is one of the 4-drops to help you win the game. We're on Lion's Eye Diamond, so we got the Bomberman combo in here. Super easy to get off. You can Eldritch Evolution Thrasios into this. It's amazing. Bright Glass Gearhulk. This is also one of the reasons why I made this deck, because I'm going to read off Bright Glass Gearhulk. So it's green, white, artifact creature construct. It has first strike trample. When this creature enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifact, creature, and or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle. So, so this is where we are. So you can notice something here. It picks up a creature mana value 1 or less, and also picks up an artifact 1 or less. So it picks up Groundskeeper, and it picks up Lion's Eye Diamond. Those are the 2 cards that you want to get. And all you need is the 3rd piece, which is 6, which you're pretty much going to get on board almost all the time. It also picks up a litany of enchantments as well. I used to be on Heliod and Walking Ballista, but I might go back to that actually, because it also layers with Bright Glass Gearhulk. It also gets you... Since Bright Glass Gearhulk can also get you a creature or an artifact, and Walking Ballista happens to be both of those things, so you can flexibly pick that up. And Auriok Salvagers can pick up literally Walking Ballista out of the graveyard, and you can, win your combo with that. But the problem that I ran into when I first had this deck put together is that Heliod and Ballista were often dead in my hand. And that's no excuse for Walking Ballista, because you can pay 4. You can just put it on the battlefield. You can add counters to it, and you can just ping stuff off whenever you want. But why would I want to do that? You know, it's like why would I want to do that? Like, why would I want to spend my time putting counters on a Walking Ballista and just, you know, pass and turn? I think I should probably build the deck around the Walking Ballista and the Heliod and trying to get those kind of combos off, because I got Yoshimaru, which also gets counters on it. And then maybe I could put in a Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and maybe I can try to do something from there. I think that's pretty decent. Knowing that Yoshimaru can put counters on itself. But I ran this combo in Yoshimaru Rayhan because the pieces were easier to 2 to 4 since I was in green. And I was also in black. But that's either here nor there. But green, finding those creatures makes it super easy to get the combo off. And also Rayhan is also a creature that puts 1/1 counters on things like the Ballista combo. Agatha's Soul Cauldron went crazy in that deck. Can't tell you I can't tell you how crazy that went in that deck. But I don't think it has a home here in this BANT version. But maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe we'll see. But Bright Glass Gear Hulk is here to stay. This is one of the really, really good cards. I'm still finding lines with this deck. So one line that I found was Neoforming Thrasios into Eternal Witness picking up Neoforming the Eternal Witness into Bright Glass Gear Hulk or Auriok Salvagers. So we're going to move on to the sorceries here. We got Green Sun Zenith, which is it's actually just an amazing card. My priority target to get with this Green Sun Zenith is 6. 6 is pretty much just the backbone of this deck. This is low-key a Delirium deck, and I'm going to also look into more Delirium cards as I go on and learn more about this deck. But Green Sun Zenith to just pick up 6. It also picks up Bright Glass Gear Hulk, Eternal Witness, Enduring Vitality, Groundskeeper, Noble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise, and Devoted Druid, most importantly. Traverse the Uvenwall. Like I said, it's kind of a Delirium deck. It just looks for... It just gets so much advantage. Like, I start the game, there's nothing in my graveyard. I look up my turn 3, there's like 6 cards in my graveyard, and I have Delirium, and I'm like, what's going on? And also, like I explained before, the combo with Groundkeeper and 6 and Lion's Eye Diamond, this Traverse the Uvenwald also picks up a basic land on his front end. And if I need to win with that, I can go ahead and just win with that. The Delirium here is if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, instead search your library for a creature or land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. This card is very good. I can't tell you enough. I think people should be running more Delirium cards in CEDH because games are starting to get longer. People are starting to slink into their Ristic Studies and use those for value. And as the game goes longer, you're going to start developing more and more Delirium as your things are getting destroyed and your spells are getting used and things like that. The later the game goes, the better this card gets, you know? And if you're a deck like this who takes advantage of, you know, putting cards in the graveyard and like, you know, swinging with 6 and milling cards and whatever, this card's insane. But I'm still not ready to cut it yet. I think it's still pretty fucking good. I'm not ready to cut it. I think it does wonders. There has never not been a time where I didn't want to cast this card. Finale Devastation. This is also one of the wins because you can just pay 1,000,000 mana into X. Everybody knows what Finale Devastation does. I'm not going to sit on this card for too long. Life of the Loam. This is, like I said, this is a Delirium deck, low-key. This is also a combo with 6. And I'll get to that later once we get to the artifacts, but this is definitely a combo. Malevolent Rumble, like I said, graveyard card. There's never not been a time where I've cast Malevolent Rumble and I automatically didn't get Delirium. It's crazy. And the fact that it lets you select a permanent from among them is insane, since there's so many like creatures and enchantments and artifacts in this deck, and even lands that you would want. Malevolent Rumble is A1, takes the cake every single time. Windfall, love that card advantage. I was recently running Time Twister, but I had to take it out because there's a no proxy tournament coming up that I'm going to play this deck in. And I don't actually own a Time Twister, but if somebody wants to donate one, I'm just kidding. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money, dude. But yeah, I'm not going to play Time Twister. I usually stay away from playing Time Twister because I know in my brain that I'm never going to fucking own a Time Twister. All I can do is compete, and hopefully I'll get one day. But Time Twister isn't super necessary for this deck. I think Windfall's better off in this deck since this is a graveyard deck. I'm going to go over this really quick, but the counterspell suite is very small. I'm only running 1 or free counterspells. Pact of Negation, 0. Flusterstorm, 1. Strict Serenade, 1. Swan Song, 1. Fierce Guardianship, free. Force of Negation, free. Force of Will, free. Mindbreak Trap, free. Like, if anything, this is my new way of thinking. This is my new theory. I think you should only be running free or 1 mana instant sorceries, and I think that's probably the sweet spot. However, the reason why I'm so short on counterspells is because I have a lot of interaction here in the form of like Into the Flood Maw, Path to Exile. Silence can be considered interaction. I got Snap. I got Force of Vigor, you know, and I got other pieces of removal and interaction in other places of the deck. This deck is more of a problem solver than it is a preemptive solution to the board state. So this plays on my ability and my knowledge of the format. And it also lets people use their interaction first. And I can say, hey, I have this piece of removal. Would you be able to counter it? And then once that's used up, then I can go ahead and remove it. And they're like, yeah, sure, fine. And then I barely lose anything, you know? I barely lose anything off of that, which is great, okay? And there's intuition here. I told you there was going to be a combo here. So one of the intuition piles that I found with this deck was with Devoted Druid, Savine's Reclamation, and you'll never guess, Swift Reconfiguration. Didn't even know this. The first time that I played this deck, the first thing that I did was cast Intuition on maybe like turn 2. And I already had Thrasios and I already had Yoshimaru out. And the first thing I did was Intuition, looking for Savine's Reclamation, Devoted Druid, and also Swift Reconfiguration. And I also was like typing furiously trying to figure out the rulings to see if it worked. And it does. It does work. So, say if they give you, I don't know, like they give you Swift Reconfiguration. Cool, you just flashback Savine's Reclamation and you put the Devoted Druid into play, then you Swift it. Cool. Now, if they give you Savine's Reclamation, this is going to be a little bit more mana intensive, and they might give you that anyway if they count your mana correctly. So, what's going to happen is you're going to cast your Savine's Reclamation, you're going to go look for your Devoted Druid, put it into play. Then you're going to flash it back, targeting Swift Reconfiguration. And when Swift Reconfiguration enters, it needs to be attached to a creature. So you declare your target when it enters. Usually with ours, you're going to have to declare your target on cast. However, when it enters, you can declare your target as it enters the battlefield. And that's the ruling that I read maybe like a few days ago. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still learning this deck, but that's what I read so far, and that was the intuition pile that I guess I came up with. There are other intuition piles in here. If you go ahead and intuition while you have 6 out, you can go pick up a basic, a Lion's Eye Diamond, and a Groundskeeper. That's probably the easiest pile it is. That whole combo is going to cost you 5 mana because you're going to intuition. They're going to say, well, we'll just give you the basic, or they'll give you the Lion's Eye Diamond. Either way. And if you have a land in your hand, that's probably the pile you're going to have to go for. They're just going to give you that. But you have to have a land in your hand just in case they just end up giving you the Lion's Eye Diamond. But land, Groundskeeper, and Lion's Eye Diamond is one of the piles you can just go for. Let's see. We're moving on to... let's see. Let's go to artifacts right now. What we got here? Anything of note? Aha. Here's one. Chromatic Star. This is a combo with 6. As I mentioned before, Chromatic Star... let's see. Chromatic Star, Life from the Loam, and Lion's Eye Diamond with 6. That is a combo to mill out your whole library. And this is actually super complicated because I feel like I'm the only one who has executed this combo in the tournament. But I learned this from Chloe. Shout out to Chloe because she actually plays 6 as a commander. But when you... So you can basically have no hand. All you need is like a land to get started. You're going to cast a Chromatic Star. Say like, I don't know, Life from the Loam's already in your graveyard. You do the star. You crack the star for green. You dredge 3 instead of drawing a card. So you dredge 3 cards. You cast Life from the Loam. You put three lands back in your hand or 2. I think it only works with a minimum of 2. You retrace your Lion's Eye Diamond. Cool. Then you retrace your Chromatic Star. Cool. And then you go ahead and sack the Lion's Eye Diamond to make your mana, make your triple green. Then you go ahead and activate the Chromatic Star. Then you dredge. You dredge 3. Cool. You have 2 green left over. You cast Life from the Loam. Put 3 lands back in your hand. Rinse and repeat. You can go throughout your whole library with this. This combo is actually kind of hard to get off because it requires about 4 cards to get off. Bright Glass Gearhulk also gets these 1-drops here. So it gets you Mystic Remora. Paladin class was a recent add-in because, you know, sometimes I just want protection. Maybe they can't counter the creature, but they'll have to counter the Paladin class, even though they might be tapped out with free interaction. Static Prison, that's something you can just go ahead and pick up Bright Glass Gearhulk in case, like, maybe there's a Curse Totem out there stopping you from your win. It also picks up Swift Reconfiguration. Bright Glass picks this up as well. So if you have your Devoted Druid out, you just got to go ahead and get your Bright Glass, and this picks up Swift Reconfiguration. Blight Obedience, this is a outlet. It's also a stacks piece for your opponents, but the Extort triggers. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay 1 white because I'm not in black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. This is a way to kill opponents without Thrasios. And then you got the typical Ristic Study and Smothering Tithe. And for the lands, this whole thing might get reworked. I might add in more utility lands, maybe like a Teleria West or something. I don't know. Maybe a what's a land? There's a land that has basic land cycling. I might even add that in this deck just to go get a basic land. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for the way it is. It's really flexible, this mana base. So I'm thinking about making this low key kind of like a land deck. But I don't know. It's just hitting so many different avenues, and I don't know what I should do with this deck. But I know that I have something here, and I know that I have something special here, and I'm not sure where this is going to lead me. I don't know like what's going to happen in like a week or so. And I have a tournament at the end of the week, and I'm going to figure out something crazy now and try to make some changes before then just to make it a little bit more comfortable, give it some more flow. But the lands are super interesting because I'm playing Life from the Loam. I've been using Boseiju a lot more frivolously, like just hitting rocks and like hitting like, you know, like two mana producing rocks, 3 mana producing rocks, Ristic Studies, just going off, and then I'll just loam it back, put it back in my hand, draw a card with Thrasios, and then go ahead and dredge again, and then put the Boseiju back in my hand. It's crazy. Cradle, it's a Cradle deck, you know. It's just a straight up Cradle deck. I get like maybe like 2 to 3 creatures on board on average, 4 is usually the maximum. Usually just makes about 4 mana at the most. So yeah, Cradle's in the deck. I wish it wasn't. I'm kind of a Cradle hater. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just kind of a Cradle hater. I just don't like it, because when you see it on like turn 1 and you want to play land and you don't have any creatures, it kind of hinders you. And I want access to my mana. Like, it's my mana. I need it now.
It's my money and I need it now!
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 Otawara, same deal as Beseiju. You know, you just drop it in the graveyard, pick it up with Life from the Loam, easy peasy. Shifting Woodlands, this is a very, very good Shifting Woodlands deck. It's great. It's cracked. It does everything you want it to do. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the deck. I think I might have to go play some more games, and I'll actually add that into the video. I'll add like a game into the video. I played in a tournament on Monday online. I'll probably just add that. Why not? I think I might actually take out this Displacer Kitten. Maybe put in like a Derevi or something. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. This deck is just doing stuff. It's just doing a lot right now. I don't know. I even cut Seedborn Muse from this deck. You know, like I cut Seedborn Muse. I think it might be a mistake, but the reason why I cut it is because usually in the last 2 tournaments that I played Seedborn Muse in, people had explicit overreactions to just seeing Seedborn Muse, even though my opponents were just barreling ahead with like 3 million mana, like, and people just freak out. They're like, "Oh, I want to get buried under the advantage," and they're just like, I don't have advantage. I just have 4 mana. Like, it's just like yeah. I even had to make a deal with Jake in one of our games where he was like, "Yeah, you can just activate it over the course of 1 turn," because he knows it's not that big of a deal, and it'll probably get removed later on, and I'm cool with that. But the deal proposed was don't activate it twice during a turn, because his theory was once a Seedborn and Thrasios player activate twice a turn, it's already lost. The game's already lost. If you can activate it twice within a turn cycle, so that's 6 times, you're activating Thrasios 6 times within a turn cycle, game's over. Game's lost. Like, there's nothing else you can do from that point to try to drag yourself out besides working together as a table. But like, why? It gets really hard to work together when everybody's so far ahead by that point. If there's a Seedborn and a Thrasios out who's able to activate 6 times within a turn cycle, game's over, dude. It's over. But that's about it. That's about it for the deck. I'm going to probably do another video update on this deck pretty soon. And I will catch you later in the next one. Peace.
Paradox, think I need a bigger pool. Niggas asking about my drive, just keep your eyes at 10 and 2. Get the clue, wanting something from me, this was overdue. Make your move, I'm never on my Yugi, bitch, it's not a dude. Red eye on that dragon, nothing rare, just hope I never use. You will lose, really about my peace unless you need it to.